In 2011, a series of earthquakes in northern Japan caused huge waves of tsunami to come through the ports of local villages and towns and cities, destroying everything on its way and taking so many precious lives. One of the most viral cities that had its video go viral is the town of Miaki, where you can see in the video the water just coming here, rising quickly, taking all the boats, carrying with them, and then finally spilling over this wall onto the city, destroying everything that was in its way. But now, almost a decade or more later, what used to be tall buildings, residential areas, is mostly a playground with parking spaces and a whole lot of nothing. The city has been rebuilt. You can't really see or tell that the whole thing was destroyed at some point. But one particular image has haunted me, which is the image of a man who's walking right in front of that wall moments before the tsunami hit. And we all know he didn't make it, unfortunately.
この津波の脇をまだ自転車で走っていると思います。大変危険です。車が通っていないところを見ると、もう道路は封鎖したと思われます。堤防を越えるかもしれない。
So, let's go and walk in front of the wall in his memory before we continue and explore other areas that were vastly more destroyed by the tsunami. It's very overgrown. So much overgrown grass. But have you ever wondered what's on the other side of the wall? I believe there's an entry at the front. It's a fishing port with lots of boats, of course, not cars. What's interesting is I thought after the tsunami they would make this wall much bigger, and just in case something else or something similar happens in the future, but from looking at it, I'm gonna assume it's exactly the same height as it used to be before. Which is different to what the other communities that we're gonna visit now have acted. Because after the tsunami, they started building massive walls on their ports to protect from any future disasters that would happen. Alright, so now we're going to continue to another town called Taro. And what's special about this town is, after suffering from the huge tsunami waves destroying everything, the city decided to build these huge walls that separate the ocean from the town.
It's a beautiful wall. It's going to be so big. It's going to be so powerful. It's going to be as beautiful as a wall can be.
Alright, we're here. Now, as soon as you get to Taro, you're immediately gonna be hit by these massive wall structures. We've got the ocean on the other side, and cutting between us and where the city used to be are these giant structure, basically shielding the entire area from any tsunami that could happen in the future. Let's go and climb this thing. Oh wow. In order for this concrete shield to protect the city, they have to build it all the way from that mountain, coming across all the way to us and continuing to the other mountain right there. Basically, no waves will be able to go through here in the future, and hopefully sparing lives of people who still live here. But if you look on the other side, it's also an interesting sight to see. So you've got few houses that are spread all the way there, but those are usually the houses that were initially built on higher ground. All the houses that used to be down here that got washed away by the tsunami, they don't exist anymore, and they haven't been rebuilt. And I can understand that if you had a house here, you probably don't want to be living near this structure, even though it's reassuring that you're going to be protected in the future. It's not a good view every day when you look out of the window.
来たよ、早く逃げて。津波が来たよ、逃げて。
Okay, let's go for a drive now through the town and see if we find anything interesting. Driving through here, I'm still getting the ghost town kind of eerie vibes of nothing really happening here. I don't even see people walking here. Alright, before we leave, we're gonna go one last time to near the houses up on the hill that still survived, and then we're gonna see what it looks like there. Maybe we see more people. This one's interesting. You can see the lower floors of the structure have been completely destroyed, probably by the tsunami. The first two floors, they don't exist anymore, and then the upper structure, it's still looking fine. Right, so I just got a bit higher up. We are now on top of the hill, and the ocean should be somewhere right there. But man, like everywhere here, the houses are still intact, but you cannot see a single soul. The only few people that I saw, and then I tried to ask if they speak English, none of them speaks English. Either the older people that are more interesting to ask questions to, I couldn't find anyone that actually speaks English, and the younger people, they don't know anything about what happened. So instead of wasting time and staying here, I have another interesting place we should visit. Is there a fireman? I mean, I definitely did not do anything. Alright, seems to have stopped. But maybe right before we leave, I should show you the view of what used to be a city a decade ago.
またカメラもですね、小刻みに揺れています。カメラも揺れています。引き続き今日 した宮城県大崎市の消防本部によりますと、市内で
Now, it's unfortunately just shadows of the past. Let's go in my funny car. Right, it's a mountainous road and we are heading now to our final destination for the day, which I'm gonna tell you about in a little because it's a very special place. But first, I have to figure out how to get there because I'm not driving the best car for these road conditions. Can you hear those engines? They're not meant for this. Sliding. Now the last town we're going to explore, a town that used to be full of life but now is just another ghost town, is the town of Chikei or Chikei. And this place is actually interesting for a specific reason, and that is the highest tsunami waves were recorded over there, a wave of about 40 meters high, which was able to almost absorb the mountains here and destroy everything that was not on higher ground. This town is basically still a ghost town up until to this day. People that used to live here that haven't had their houses destroyed, some of them still decided to leave because there's nothing left. And those that had their houses completely destroyed, they didn't want to build their houses back. Oh shit, that almost freaked me out. And now, all that exists is basically a small fishing town. Welcome to Chikei. So there's actually a very good reason why this town was hit by the biggest tsunami waves, which is, if you look behind me, there's this peninsula and then that peninsula, which what actually happens is these two peninsulas, they confine the water in a much tighter space than with the other towns. And what happens is that raises the water levels and makes the waves much higher than it would have been. You're fishing? Fishing? Do you speak English?
No.
English? No English? No. Oh, okay. Then have a good day. That's the story of my life. No one speaks English here, so I can't ask anyone any questions, and I don't want to use Google Translate or any of that other shit. If I can't talk to them, I'm not gonna bother. Too tired for this shit. These look like the remnants of what used to be a house. It's the same, it's gathered here everywhere. This probably used to be a drive-through of someone's house that is now completely destroyed. That might have been the foundation, and now it's just used by the fishermen to lay out their big bowls. There's another wall there, and this looks like to be, this one would have been a house, this could have been the garden of the house, and this one could have been another one. You'll find similar images everywhere, scattered all the way until you get to above that height, and then the houses look like they're untouched. Anyways, I don't know, this video is going to be very antisocial because there's no one to talk to. It's just alone. So I hope this story is still interesting to see how these communities are after a decade after the tsunami happened and what they look like. But I still hope you enjoyed and found the story of what happened to these communities after the tsunami very interesting. I mean, sad, to say the least. But yeah, if you found this place lovely, you could still maybe come here and move here, have 100 babies, football teams of babies, and make them lovely again. But for me, I'm going to continue my journey, trying to get myself into trouble. See you next video.